What if you could travel through time to stop a tragedy, only to discover that you are the cause of it? John's journey between the past and the future reveals a shocking cycle. His actions shape his destiny, but can he escape his fate? An astonishing story about love, identity, and the price of tampering with time. This story revolves around a man who travels through time to the past and changes all the events there. The name of this man is John. He is sent to the year 1975 through time travel. John arrives and finds a bomb he must defuse. But before he can do so, another man comes and shoots him. A battle breaks out between them, and during the fight, the bomb explodes, causing John's entire face to burn. Then, another man comes to him and gives him his time machine. When John returns using the time machine in 1992, his face has been burned, so he undergoes cosmetic surgery. His face is no longer as it was before. He has completely changed. John gradually recovers, and now he is assigned the final mission of his life. He is sent from 1992 to 1970, where he begins working as a bartender in a bar. One day, a boy comes to him. This was not just any boy, but John himself, his young version from 1970. However, John from 1970 could not recognize John from 1992 because he had undergone plastic surgery and his face had completely changed. Nevertheless, John from 1992 recognizes his younger self. The two begin talking together. Young John is deeply affected by this, and he starts to tell his story. He says he did not have parents and was raised in an orphanage. He had amazing powers. He was not a boy, but a girl. At that time, his name was not John, but Jane. He had abilities, so no one accepted him. He grew up as Jane, and one day he got the opportunity to participate in a space program. There was a doctor named Dr. Robertson. He conducted my medical examination and discovered that I had both male and female organs and hormones together. But Dr. Robertson did not tell me that, and he did not enroll me in the space program. I had no other way to move forward in life. I met a young man who made me fall in love. We became very physically close, but one day he told me that he had to leave, and he left me forever. After his departure, Jane discovered she was pregnant and gave birth to a child. But the doctor told her that her delivery was extremely complicated. He told her, "You had both male and female hormones together. Due to the complications, we had to remove your female hormones. As a result, those hormones you had, which were only slightly more than the male hormones, completely disappeared. And now you only have male hormones and organs, which is why you will soon become a man." Hearing that was very sad, because she had lived her entire life as a girl. Here, someone steals her child from the hospital. Jane completely collapses, yet she gradually starts to transform into a boy, which is why her name changes from Jane to John. The story dates back to 1970, where John is telling his future story to a person he does not know. He says he knows that this person will not believe his story, but this is John's own story from 1992. He says that he believes his story and will help him. He will tell him why the man he loved left him and made him pregnant. He takes him to 1963 using a time machine. He meets that man for the first time. John is wearing a hat and carrying a gun, and here he meets Jane. Jane cannot recognize John because Jane is the boy who came here at that time, and John meets Jane here, meaning he meets himself in the past. But John falls in love with Jane as soon as he sees her. And here, the whole story begins. John realizes that he is the same man who met Jane, who had a physical relationship with him, and became a mother. Here, John, who came from 1992, watches everything from a distance. But then he returns to 1975, using his time machine, to the moment when he could not deactivate the bomb that burned his face. When he gets there, he sees a man planting a bomb, chases after him, and a fight breaks out between them. The man planting the bomb is called the Fizzle Bomber. During the fight, John, who came from 1992, takes a blow that knocks him unconscious. When he regains consciousness, he sees a man walking in front of him. He also notices another time machine there, so he gives his time machine to the man with the burned face. He sets the machine to 1992 and travels there. At that moment, John realizes that when he was here last time and his face was burned, the man who helped him was none other than himself. John is completely shocked when he discovers this. Now, he returns to the time when Jane gave birth to a baby girl. John steals the baby from the hospital and takes her back in time to 1945. He leaves her at the orphanage where she grew up as a girl named Jane. After that, John returns to 1963, where he had left himself in the past with Jane. A few months pass, and now John goes to meet the John from 1970, who picked him up from the bar and asks him to come back with him. But the John from 1970 says he can't leave Jane. He feels very lonely in his life, but the John from 1992 tells him, "Do you know who Jane is? She is you in the past, and I am you in the future. That's why I believed everything you said, because those were my own words." After hearing this, John is shocked because his past was a girl and his future is a man who doesn't resemble him. Now, John is ready to go with her, and this is the moment when Jane's lover left her and abandoned her forever. Both of them travel back in time to 1985. There, John takes Jane to the agency where he works, the agency for which he travels through time and travels to different time periods. There, John brings in John from 1970 to make him an agent in the present, at the same company where he works, while he himself returns to the past and retires. This means he won't have to travel through time again. For this reason, John from 1970 becomes a time travel agent, then goes to 1975, where the bomb that killed 10,000 people did not explode. He returns to 1975 to try to disable the bomb once more. Upon his arrival, he tries to shut down his time machine permanently, but discovers a glitch in it, meaning he is still able to use it. Among the papers he has, there is one that talks about his future and mentions the head of the time travel agency, whose name is Robertson. Robertson has left him a clue on how to find the bomber weasel, the person who detonated the bomb in 1975 and killed 10,000 people. John follows the clue until he reaches the bomber weasel. But before he kills him, he sees his face. He is completely stunned when he realizes that it is none other than himself in the future, meaning he is the bomber weasel. He cannot understand how he could have planted the bombs and killed so many people, but he knows nothing about his future. Just as John met his past and knew everything about it, he now faces his future, about which he knows nothing. And here it seems that his future isn't quite normal, and the reason for that is that time travel can affect the human mind, and so he is no longer normal. The future John asks the older John, "Is your machine still working? Wasn't it shut down for good? I reported that to your agency." But John didn't do that. This means he can still travel through time. John refuses to listen. He cannot accept that he himself will become Weasel, the bomber who planted the 1975 bomb and killed 10,000 people. So he kills his older self. However, the truth is that his future cannot be changed. He still has the time machine. He will continue using it again and again. Over time, this will damage his mind and slowly turn him into an unstable person. And in the end, he will become the very man who plants the bomb and kills 10,000 people. In fact, this is a time loop that John is stuck in, repeating the same cycle over and over again. John looks at his time machine, and through it, we understand the plot of the story. All the characters in this story were the same person. John from 1992 travels to 1975, and the bomber Weasel who tries to stop him is also John. The man whose face was burned is John, and the man who saved him is John as well. After that, John travels to 1970, where he becomes a bartender. There he meets his younger self, that is, himself. Later, both versions of John travel to 1963, where he sees Jane, and Jane is also John. Here, Jane enters into a physical relationship with John, resulting in the birth of a daughter. Afterward, the 1970 John leaves Jane and travels to 1985 with the 1992 John. In 1985, John from 1992 recruits John from 1992 and John from 1970 as agents, then returns to 1975. But in the meantime, John also kidnaps Jane's daughter and leaves her in the same orphanage where he grew up, and this child is Jane herself. This means that the orphaned girl will grow up to become Jane, then John, and eventually the bomber weasel. It's a time loop that John can't escape because we saw that he still possesses the time machine, which his agency knows nothing about. And so the time travel story ends. Subscribe if you're ready to question reality.